Good morning, students. This is Saurabh Gupta, Assistant Professor, BBD University, and in today's lecture, I'll be focusing upon the essentials of business communication, oral and written. This is my third lecture, and I'll be discussing upon the verbal communication and its difference with the oral communication. In the previous two lectures of mine, I have told you that what was oral communication all about, what are the possible outcomes of oral communication, what are the advantages and disadvantages of oral communication, its types. I have also told you about the proselytes or the principles of oral communication, that means on what oral communication is actually dependent upon, or to say or to add on to it, I have also given you the two sides or the two phases of oral communication, that was your reflection and empathy, and how this reflection and empathy is going to add on to the oral communication I have told you. In today's lecture, we will be discussing upon the issue of what exactly is oral communication and verbal communication. To be precise, I'm going to tell you that whether these two things are different, or can they be used as an interchange, or can be used as a synonym or not. So let us begin. Let us first begin, like as always, I'm going to begin with my lecture of what exactly do we mean by the term communication. Communication is an exchange of transferring information from one person to another person. Every communication involves at least one sender, a message, a recipient. This is a very, very simple thing, like I have told you in my first lecture, that communication, though it seems to be very, very simple, and you can say that we just need to talk in communication, but in reality, communication and its gimmick is really a complex subject or a complex thing to deal with, because sender has its own principles, your message has its own principles, the context, the receiver, the barrier of noise, and the elements involved. These all have their different topology and their different characteristics, making the subject of communication a crucial thing. To just add on to it, I'm also going to tell you about the importance of business communication. I've already told you that communication holds a very great importance in day-to-day's life. Think about a situation that what would happen if the primitive men wouldn't have developed the ability to communicate. We would have been a typical goon type of people. We would have been a kind in a nature of, say, we are not in a position to talk to others, communicate with others. uh, Communication, whether done verbally or done non-verbally, whether done with using writing, whether done with use of your electronic media, communication has always proved itself and to the best of its mark. Some of the basic importance: it promotes motivation by informing and clarifying the employees that the task is done. Now, we all are discussing essentials of business communication. So, we are going to talk you in terms of business arena only, or in the terms of organizational arena only. So, I'm using the term of, say, office and employees and all. Otherwise, communication proves to be a motivation not only for the employees and the boss, but it proves motivation to all of us, to all the people, all the mankind, all the creatures. Even to the creatures, it proves to be a motivation. You train your dog, you train your pets using communication abilities only. So communication has given you an era, has given you a kind of a importance factor that has made it pretty much clarified that yes, this is an importance of business communication. Secondly, communication is a source of information to the organizational members for decision making process. Yes, it is very much useful for making the decision making process, because ultimately you all need to make a decision of it, whether you are doing a business or whether you are doing a kind of a service, you need to create or come up to a decision purposes, and that is the essence of your communication. Communication plays a crucial role in altering individual attitudes. Yes, individual attitudes can also be altered by using your communicational skills. Now, what is happening? We all are in a habit of communicating with one another. So, we all need to be well informed, we all need to be changing an attitude, developing a kind of a well developed informational tactics and all. So communication plays a crucial role in altering all kind of business activities or all kind of attitudinal problems. Next, it also helps in socializing. Yes, communication is very much helpful in socializing the business, because ultimately you all are a social animal, we all are a social animal, and we need to remember one thing, that in today's presence scenario, uh, every person needs communication abilities. Reason that we cannot survive without communication in any circumstances. As discussed earlier, communication also assists in controlling processes. It helps in controlling the organizational members, the tasks, the behaviors, the attitudes, and all. We have already discussed about types. I have discussed the types in detail in the previous lectures of my oral communication. Let us discuss it one more time. So, like I have told you that there are three bases on the basis of your expressions, methods, media. This is the first type, and this can be segregated into two parts: verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Verbal communication can be divided into two parts, that is oral communication and written communication. Excuse me. And non-verbal communication can be divided into the following parts, like visual communication, audio method, audio visual communication, gestures, passive communication, communication through action, and all. This all are the part and parcel of communication, which is based upon the expression method terminology of your communicational ability or types. The second aspect is on the basis of flow of information. That means how the information is flowing within an organization, say horizontally, vertically, crosswise. In vertical communication can be divided into two parts, that is upward communication and downward communication. I have already told you that when the communication takes place from the top people, that means from the boss to the people working in downsized company, or you can say in the lower bottom of the company, it is known as downward communication, because the message or notice or information is being circulated to the people down the sizing. And if the communication, if any kind of plead, if any kind of request, if any kind of say a kind of a plea or a petition needs to be delivered from the lower staff, it travels to the upwards in an upward format. That means from down to up, and from up to down. It goes in the mannerisms. And crosswise communication, when you are working within the same department and you are sitting from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere, communicating in a crosswise section or in a cross format or sitting in a cross format, it is known as a crosswise communication. Now, the third aspect was on organizational relationships, formal communication and informal communication. I have already told you that there are relationships between the boss and the employee. It can be formal, it can be informal. Now, there is a kind of information which I would like to share with you all students, is that never ever work in a kind of a company where your peers are your boss, because the thing is that a kind of a attitudinal problem, a kind of an ego clash, a kind of a thing will develop into your mind that yes, should I work there? Should I not work there? Because this particular chap has work was not up to the mark in the college era, and he's just going on and on with me. So this kind of situation you need to this I'm going to deliver in the in the next few lectures of mine, that how to deal with such situations. So ultimately you all need to realize that formal communication and informal communication are the part and parcel of your organization relationships. Now, what is verbal communication? Like in the cartoon itself, you can say that talking verbally, that includes both the spoken words or written communication. Like I have told you in the previous slide of mine only, I've discussed that your verbal communication is divided into two parts, that is oral communication and written communication. So the verbal communication has two aspects. It can be spoken and it can be written. However, many people used to describe spoken communication as verbal communication, but in reality that there is a remarkable difference between the two, and that I'm going to deliver in the new in the next few slides of mine. So in verbal communication, when uh, it is uh, clarity of a speech, or when the oral communication takes into consideration, so clarity of a speech, remaining calm, remaining focused, being polite, are basic etiquettes of verbal communication. That means you are communicating verbally. You are communicating using all the kind of your vocalics, your tone, your style of speech, your politeness, your humbleness, the attitudinal problems and all the things need to be worked upon during the process of verbal communication itself. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of verbal communication? There are various advantages and disadvantages of verbal communication. Verbal communication is referred to as a mode of communication that involves in helping your words, which eases your way through the process of conveying your through ideas, thoughts, feelings, objectives to another person in clear, precise, and brief manner. So, verbal communication, the biggest advantage of verbal communication, like you all can see that there are advantages also and disadvantages also in both the cartoons. It is clearly depicted that while communicating, you can deliver what you want to say and you can deliver your thoughts. In the next cartoon, you can make a conflict. You can discuss upon an issue. You can express your ideas, and just by expressing your ideas you can enter into various kind of conflictual situations. So uh, communicating orally through speeches, debates, orders are more of a verbal type. uh, Printed orders, written communication, interviews, exams, these are our written communication. That means the second aspect of verbal communication. So the advantages: it saves time in communication. Yes, it is very much helpful in saving the time of communication. Like I have already told you that quick feedback can be there. It provides complete understanding of communication delivered. That means in communication, uh, when you talk, when you open your words using the verbal, using the oral communication, you will be able to save a lot of time. You will get immediate feedback. The moment you sell a pen to your consumers and say, "Sir, this pen is totally matching your personality, and it is going to add to your persona. You will become magnanimous." So these things either will hit him and he will buy the pen, or either he will just look at you, laugh at you, and go on. So quick feedback can be obtained by verbal communication itself. It is more reliable method of communication. Yes, at times you can use the verbal communication as a most reliable method of communication, because you can rely upon your verbal, you because ultimately what is happening, you are communicating with your verbal, you with your thoughts, with your vocalics, and you have a full control over it. Though at times, what happens that situation wise, you go against the situation and you deliver such type of error of representing the thought, or misspeaking the thought, or speaking something extra. So these are situational problems. These can be handled, but it is a reliable method of communication. It is flexible and effective also. Yes, in written communication, you cannot change the written word, but in oral communication, you can change the word, you can change the methodology of word, and you can just make the word in favor of yourself. It is a powerful means of persuasion. Yes, persuasion, you can persuade anyone by oral communication itself, and it is a cheaper way of communicating, and it saves lots of time, lots of money also. Disadvantages. So, like you all know, that it has disadvantages also. What are the disadvantages? Disadvantages are basically emotions are visible and hence lead it to trouble cases. There is no legality. It do not provide permanent record. It has issues in communicating distant people. It is difficult for certain people to understand. This form of communication is not suitable for lengthy messages. So, uh, communication, if verbally or if made verbally, you cannot uh, use lengthy message to communicate your verbal communication. Say, for example, if you want to uh, discuss the report, or you want to discuss a presentation, or you can say you want to discuss the promotion activity of a being of your company. So the report needs to be prepared in a written format. You cannot present your report in a verbal communication method. So you can make a presentation out of it, but you cannot present the entire 75 pages report in a verbal communication aspects. So it's the biggest disadvantage of verbal communication. Types of verbal communication. There are various types of verbal communication, which I'm going to tell you all. The first is intrapersonal communication. Now, what is intrapersonal communication? Intrapersonal communication is communicating with oneself using internal vocalization and reflective thinking. You all have seen people talking to themselves. Most of the time, what happens? We say that these are lunatics, these do not have sense, they are talking to themselves, and we praise them according to our means and according to our convenience. But does this intrapersonal communication play an important role? Yes, it plays a crucial role in your communicational abilities. Just when you say, for example, take an example, you are opening in match, you are playing a cricket match, and you are an opening batsman, and you are facing one of the deadliest bowlers of your school or of your university, who is prone to hit the ball onto the stumps, and if not on stumps, onto the face of the batsman. This type of thing is going to make you either tremble within yourself. But the moment you say, yes, I have the ability and I can beat this bowler and can supersede this person, a kind of an inner strength creates within yourself. Like we all have seen that very logical movie, Three Idiots, in which Baba Rancho Das have said that all is well. The moment he say all is well, everything settles down and boils down to normal. So this is intrapersonal communication when you are talking to yourself, and when you are talking to yourself and telling the people and not to the people, you are not communicating at that time to the people, but you are communicating to yourself that yes, You have the inner strength, you have the power, you can make the thing in favor of yourself. It is a kind of an internal stimulus, students, and this proves to be a very, very important aspect in the student life. Because what is happening in today's scenario, that tensions, uh, emotions, emotional criterias, breakdowns, all these things are going to affect the people considerably. Just thinking about yourself, thinking about what will happen to me. Can I do it or can I not? Or I have the zeal to do it is going to make you something. Intrapersonal communication is going to function upon the inner strength of yours. Intrapersonal communication. So there is intrapersonal communication and there is an example of it also. For example, a person may use to self-talk to calm down himself in a stressful situation. You can see in this diagram of yours, no, I can't, no, I can't. And there is a saying, yes, I can, let's do it. So there are two situations. Either you are going to sail through it, either you are going to go against it. So think about that whenever such type of situation comes into your personal arena of thinking, always think that yes, I have the power to sail through, I have the power to make through people, and I can make myself calm down and just relax. The moment you say the word relax, I am self confident. I am the most effective person. I have the ability. I am the best. So, in school time, also, there is always a poem, good, better, best, never be at rest, till your good is better and better become best. So, this poem is going to signify your intrapersonal communication. That means your intrapersonal ability to deal with the power within you, to deal with the situational problems and going to make you effective. Interpersonal communication, it is communicating by which the people is going to exchange the feelings, meanings through verbal, non-verbal. It faces the communicational tactics. Intrapersonal communication is not just about what actually is being said, the language used, but is also about the non-verbal communication, the voices, facial expressions, body language. Intrapersonal communication is often defined as communication that takes place between people who are independent and have some knowledge of their own. So, interpersonal communication, like you all know, interpersonal communication is going to deal with the communicational abilities of an individual in the two. So for example, in the sequential way. For example, communication between son and father, employer and employee, two sisters, teachers, two lovers, two friends, and so on. Now, why only two? Two means intrapersonal communication. I'm using the word you and the other being, you and the other person. So it is an intrapersonal communication. You are not talking to yourself, you're talking to the other being. Interpersonal communication. Let us now make it. Uh, Interpersonal communication is crucial for your success. Let us now take a look into why interpersonal communication is important. So there are some importance of it because it allows people to discuss properly. Now, the thing is that interpersonal communication is a kind of a thing that is going to allow people to discuss their problems, their issues, their matters in detail. Poor communication between the employees and the employer can harm the business in many ways. So, say for example, I'm an autocratic boss. I do not listen to my people. I just enter into my company, just look at them, and just harshly deal with the situation. Will my people work with me? No, not so. Because there is poor communicational ability between me and my employee. So, for that, to understand the nature, the psyche, the behavior of a human being, you need to have an interpersonal communicational ability. It is crucial for improving trust and workplace. Good interpersonal communication is very important during the change management efforts within the organization and all. Interpersonal communication, especially when executed well, are important for the organizations. Good interpersonal communication is also necessary for managers to help the employee for their job successfully. Now, interpersonal communication is a kind of a communication which is of utmost importance for the business arena. You are running a business. Unless and until you are going to talk to your employee, you are going to talk to your people, you are going to talk to your beings, you are working with a company, you won't be able to make the company sail through for a longer period of time. So, for that, interpersonal communication needs to be developed. A small group communication. While many of these skills can be transferred to use the small group context communication. Now, in the fourth unit, there is a topic group communication. In that, I'm going to tell you about this particular topic only in details, but in just I'm going to tell you in over here. Well, many of these skills can be transferred using the small group context, the more complex nature, the group interaction necessity, some adaptation, and some additional skills. A small group communication refers to the interaction between three or more people connected for a common purpose, mutual influence, and shared identity. Now, the basic thing for group communication is that you need to come up or you need to boil down to a mutual influence and sharing of identity. That means that you are sharing your identity, you are sharing your purposes to the people. In this section, we will learn about the characteristic function and types of a small group. Group makes it easier to establish complete wide variety of tasks. It helps us to establish the meaningful social bonds and help to create and maintain the change of our self and senses of self. Fortunately, as the other area of communication, instruction of group can be improve upon people's skills and increase real people satisfaction with their group experiences. A small group communication is all about how well you have the mutual trust between you and the people. Say, for example, in the picture itself, you can see the four different type of people. Why? One is sleeping, one is in a gestal or a jovial mood, playing with his pen and making a mustache of it. One is actually delivering what she want to, and one is in her own world. So they have not come up for a common purpose. So for a small group communication, mutual influence and shared identity for the mutual purpose needs to be made. You cannot make a group without this thing. A small group communication it continues on further. Now, in as shown in the picture, why this person is lamenting or why this person is putting his hand on his head, this is just because uh, this is not a group communication, because they have entered, they have some kind of mutual understanding and they have made a group, but now they are conflicting, they are now experiencing negative experiences. So now different size, structure, identity, and interaction patterns need to be checked for small group communication, and it is very, very useful and it is a very, very important also to communicate within the small group, because A small group ideas is going to actually mean a lot. A small group people is going to require the person for minimum three type of people. That means that what actually do we need or what actually do we want. A small group requires the minimum three people, and for a bigger you can just go on for more than three also. Types of verbal communication. There are various types of verbal communication also. Public communication. Public communication helps in individual and group engage in dialogue and in public experiences, public spheres, and order of delivery. Public speaking, event, newspapers, editorial, boards, uh, advertisements, and few forms of public communication. What is public communication? Public communication, when you are communicating to the public, that means you're giving a speech, you are giving a kind of thought provoking thing to the people, speaking to inform, informative argument speech, speaking to persuade, motivate, and take action, and speaking to entertain. Now, public communication, the first is informative argumentative speech. Informative or argumentative speech, that means, say for example, you can see your political leaders, they are making the speech, they are informing what they have done, they are also informing, they are also argumenting on the thing that what their competitors haven't done. So this is a kind of a speech to inform. Secondly, to persuade. You have all seen that communication takes place using those big banners, those big trumpets and all, which they used to bang on, motivating people, persuading them to buy a product, and speaking for entertainment. Funny speech, funny especially on occasion speeches. Say for example, in the time of festival of Holi and all, you just see that in those Milan Samaro and all, you have those funny speeches, those funny anecdotes to be recited in front of people. They enjoy it a lot. So this is a public communication. This is the first type of your verbal communication. This is your last type. Sorry, not the first type, the last types. Public communication. There are three basic types of public communication. That why do we actually communicate in public? The first is to inform, next to persuade, and the last is to entertain. Now, why are we actually communicating with the public? Why do we say that it is necessary to inform them? Because we all are living in a society. We are living in a social being and we all are social animals. We need to inform the people. We need to educate them. And in order to do so, we need to inform them for each and everything. Similarly, to persuade them, motivate them, and to take action. Now, why we are doing this? We are doing this just to motivate a person. You all have seen the various types of advertisements, those people going on selling the things, going on selling the attitudes things, going on selling the things of persuasion problems and all. How they do it? They persuade it. They persuade the people, and they try to speak with people. They try to make the audience, they try to tell the audience that whatever they are selling, whatever they are making, they are doing it for a special purpose. They are educating them, they are motivating them, they are taking an action out of them to entertain. To entertain, say for example, events like banquets, wedding, dinner, you telling a funny story, those anecdotal informations, For example, some example would be that this would be the best man's speech at the wedding after the dinner speech given by the host, a Thanksgiving party and all. Now, what are the difference between the verbal communication and oral communication? Now, like I have told you all that whether the verbal communication and oral communication can be used as an interchange thing or they can be used as an interchange aspect. No, they cannot, because there are differences between the two. In many contexts, oral and verbal communication seems to be synonymous. Sometimes they are used. You have probably heard people asking oral and verbal reports, meaning they want to say that something to be loud, to be read out, or to be spoken. Now, the thing is that in verbal communication and oral communication, is there a difference? Yes, there is a difference between verbal communication and oral communication because there are various nuances that deals with the choosing of right type of communication and right type of communication. Verbal is an adjective. It means of it means of or relating to the words whether spoken or written. This means verbal can be used to refer to speech or written text since it means anything relating to the words. Now, like in the types only, I have denoted and I have shown you that verbal communication has two main variants, that is the oral communication and the written communication. But it is a verb. It is a kind of a adjective, not a verb, but it's an adjective. It's an adjective that is going to signify a particular thing that could be written or that could be spoken. That could be written and that could be spoken in a sequential and a logical manner. But in everyday use, however, verbal is usually referred to as a spoken language. Generally speaking, when people say verbal praise, they mean to praise someone said it aloud. Likewise, verbal consent, it is consent that given you are by speaking rather than singing the consent or the consent form. So, like in the first difference, we have come across that there is a thin line of difference between the verbal communication and oral communication. Verbal communication, it can be of two types. That means orally and written. But the oral communication has to be in using your verbal essence only. Like verbal can be used as an interchanged thing. That means, like in the point itself, I have told you all that verbal communication can be used as that speaking a particular language and speaking the particular thing in just by making it loud and clear. But oral communication cannot be interchanged with verbal communication in whatsoever circumstances. Oral communication is an adjective. It means of relating to mouth, proper oral hygiene, for instance. It involves brushing of one teeth on regular basis. Now, you all must be confused that both of these terms are adjective. So why they are different? So yes, they both are adjective. They both have the qualities of adjective. They are signifying both the things. But verbal communication comes in two variants, that is oral communication and written communication. But oral communication cannot be segregated further on. It has to be made within two of the things. Oral communication, it means relating to the mouth, proper hygiene, proper instances, and all. So, for instance, it involves brushing of oral communication. It means drinking plenty of water and all. Oral communication is an adjective. It's a thing of orally communicating with the people. Oral communication has a secondary meaning also. It overlaps with the verbal. It describes the information communicating through the spoken words. Oral communication is more specific than verbal communication because verbal communication has written ability also. So ultimately, oral communication and verbal communication, they both are overlapping each other. They are not actually making the clear difference out of it. They are overlapping each other, but in there is a, like I've told you, that there is a thin line between the two. There is a thin line between the two. That means that there is a kind of a thing wherein I am telling that oral communication comes with no variants. That means you cannot segregate it into parts and all. But verbal communication comes in the variants of oral communication and written communication. This is your point of consideration. So, like in the diagram itself, you can see the basic difference of it. Uh, oral communication. Oral communication originates from the Latin word means mouth. Verbal communication is from the Latin word means verbum. That means your word. Oral means spoken. Verbal means in form of words or in form of written. Oral communication can be used as an adjective and as a noun, and verbal communication can be used as an adjective, noun, and verb. See what I have told. Oral communication is a noun and an adjective, but verbal communication is a verb, is an adjective, and a noun. So, this is the basic difference between the two of the main components of oral communication and verbal communication. So, this was the thing which we have discussed. Let's make a quick recap of it, and let's make a quick recap of it and think that what we have done till now. We have done the communication is simply an act of transferring information from one person to another person. We have done the importance of communication. We have done the types of communication in nutshell. We have done the verbal communication, the advantages and disadvantages of verbal communication. We have done the types of verbal communication and the difference between the verbal communication and oral communication. So, I think that my students won't be able to get the clear depiction of what exactly is a basic difference between oral communication and verbal communication. Let me give a thorough look to it one more time. So, oral communication, like I have told you all, that oral communication is going to describe using the word which can be uttered by the mouth. That means you can use it by using your vocal cords, using your mouth, using your energy. But your verbal communication, as being derived from the word verbum, which means word. So, word needs to be emphasized, can be written, and can be uh, orally communicated. So, this is the kind of a thing which we need to focus upon. Oral communication is rather written, and oral communication means uh, speaking it rather than writing it, but verbal communication means it needs to be written in form or speaking in oral ways. Similarly, it's an adjective, it's a noun, oral communication. But your verbal communication can be used as an adjective also, it can be used as a verb also, it can be used as a noun also. So don't get confused with the kind of a thing when we are interchanging the two things, when we are interchanging the two aspect of oral communication and verbal communication. Because at times what happens, students, that oral communication and verbal communication, though both are interchanging each other, though both are interchanging the methodology of each other, but they can be used as an interchanging object, but they cannot be used as an interchanging subject. So you need to have the basic essence of that oral communication needs to be delivered by using your oral vocalics. That means using your oral methodology, and your verbal communication uses this written pattern and your oral pattern. So this was all about my this particular topic. That means your verbal communication and oral communication. So I always end my slide with this type of cartoons and all. Uh, this is just because the reason that cartoon or the pictures are going to depict uh, more logically. They are going to give you the clear picture of the world. They're going to tell you the real thing of the world, and they're going to tell you that yes, this is the thing all about. So, like in the cartoon itself, it say that you can be the doctor of your own. Uh, Rest is up to you. Stop getting older. So this is a kind of a joke, a jovial thing. So thing is that ultimately we need to focus upon that oral communication and written communication are two basic essence of verbal communication itself. Don't get confused and don't get walked off, because unless and until you deliver the thoughts, you deliver the process, you cannot be relied upon. So the thing is that ultimately you need to focus upon the issue of what exactly is oral communication and what exactly is the verbal communication. So don't get confused with that. It's a very easy thing. And this was all about my slide. This was all about my thing, and I'm going to make the thing. I have tried my level best to explain you, to make you understand that what exactly is the verbal communication and oral communication, and how you're going to deal with the verbal communication and oral communication. And this was a clear depiction, a clear difference between the two, and how I'm going to make the things in the near future. In the next few lectures of mine, we will be discussing upon the issue of what is listening, what is non-verbal, what is body language, what is the principles, what is and all. It will be an interesting subject. It will be an interesting thing. But for now, you can be very much confident that oral communication and the verbal communication are, they cannot be used as an interchanging object, because one is being used as an adjective, as a noun, and as a verb. That is your verbal communication. And one is being used as a noun, as an adjective. That is your oral communication. This is what we are dealing with, the oral communication and verbal communication. So this was all about the definition aspect of it. I, to the best of my ability, have tried my level best to deal with the situation and to tell you that what exactly is the difference between the communication, the verbal communication, the types, the natures, the apathy, the methodology. If any doubts or any kind of thing uh, is going to be there in your mind, just mail me the content. You can also contact me on WhatsApp and all. You can also uh, contact me during the class hours and get the real thing of it. This was all thing. Thank you.